So in this demo, I'm going to show you how to get up a TK Inter graphical user interface. Now I'm going to use a technique that we're going to practice in the lab where we try to keep main nice and clean and put everything over in this form.py file. So I'll have to import that file. I'll have to make a new form, and then I will start the form. So I wanted the creation of the form and starting the form, I want to separate. When I do the start, we're going to run the main loop on TK. Once I do that, basically it's game over for this Python script in terms of trying to get something done. The main loop will take over the thread. So I'm just going to clean up. I'm going to switch over to form.py. And so this is how we're going to start off. We'll have to import TK-inter. Okay, I will make a class called form. I will do the constructor, the double underscore init. Okay, and I will make a TK application object right away. I'll set up the title. I'll set up the icon in the corner, and I will call some internal methods. I've decided to hide these from the outside world. Right. So part of what this object will do will create the base TK application, set its title and icon up in the corner, and then it will call these three methods where it will make any frames if we're going to break up the area into sort of sections. In this particular app, don't need to, keeping it simple. So it just passes on that, nothing to do in this particular app. I'm then going to make the widgets. So I have an area where I just make the widgets. All I do here is I make them. Right? I'm not concerned about where they're going to be placed yet. Okay, I'll do that in layout widgets. Right? So here I make a label. Right? So I make a new label. This sort of makes it part of the top level widget, although it's part of the app. We haven't decided where we're going to put it in the app yet. And then I set its text. I also set the size of the text too. Here means none. Don't worry about whether it's Arial or New Times Roman, but do make it 20-point font. And then in the layout widgets is where I will get concerned about whether I place it, pack it, or use a grid to organize it. Okay. Here I'm just going to do a pack. We're going to see that the default packing is top center, right? And then when someone decides to start, so this is just setting the form up, right? What widgets do we want? Where do we want to put them? What kind of default values do we want to have? And then later on, someone will choose to launch the particular this particular TK app. And when they do, they'll run main loop. That's what our start does. Our start just comes in and runs main loop. But from that point on, right, it'll take over our thread. And so what we'll do is we'll run this. I do have a run stuffer, what I call a run stuffer in here. So someone tries to accidentally run the form, right? They'll get, this module is not meant to be runnable. Instead, try running main.py in the terminal. And this is how you would import this form. Import form is F. The form is equal to the form. Start the form. So you can give them the code they would need to make this happen if they encounter it. So that's the code I have over here. So I'll go over here and I will run the main. And so I get these, I get my GUI basically. So bring that back on the screen. I'm also going to slide the title. I'm going to try the title bar over. So this is my application running here. So I'll just minimize it again. But notice that the icon that I put up in the corner here is also the icon that shows up in the taskbar. And that I haven't said blocked resizing this, so someone can make it bigger. Notice how it stayed centered, the label, but it stays at the top. We can see the icon I added here, the Google Earth icon in the corner. We can see my title. But this is basically the TK app. You get this icon, you get this title area, you get the min, max, close buttons, and then you decide what you want to put on this area, on this top level widget. And here I put one label. One thing to get used to is how are you going to organize all this? So I don't want to have one file with everything in it, a a big chunk of spaghetti code. So we'll try to keep main pretty clean and try to keep the form self-contained. We'll have a run stuffer, so if someone tries to accidentally run it, but this will be sort of the workflow. We'll come in, we'll make the TK object and store it internally. We'll set the title and the icon, and then we'll call the make frames. We may not have to do anything. We don't in this case, but then we'll make the widgets, then we'll lay the widgets out in that. Also notice I have a future zone here, which is where I want to put my callbacks. I don't have a callback that I'm using in this particular app, but later on if I do, it'll be down in this area here where I add some definitions, and I've got a stub here all ready to go if I need to tie into it. But for now, this concludes this demo.